Ahoy! Welcome, shipmates. I'm the air quotes comedian, and this be the Polemics podcast. A yo-ho-ho and a rattle of bum. Yar, welcome. Well, that's quite enough of that nonsense. We don't do silly voices on this channel. No, we don't. Have you ever seen that anti-piracy advert they run in the cinema, or on the DVD, Blu-ray, or whatever physical media people are eating these days? You know the one where they go, "You wouldn't steal a car by creating a perfect digital copy of it through peer-to-peer file sharing, would you?" You know, that one. And there's quite a few variations of that particular advert. There's that other one, isn't there? The one that goes, "You wouldn't brutally club a granny over her head, open her purse, and create a perfect digital copy of the money in her purse via peer-to-peer file sharing, would you?" You know, that one. And there's quite a few variations of that particular advert. There's that other one, isn't there? The one that goes, "You wouldn't organise a group of Somalian ex-fisher people and ex-militia, furnish them with boats so that they could raid shipping lanes in the Gulf of Aden with the intent of creating perfect digital copies of some ship's cargo via peer-to-peer file sharing, would you?" You know, that one. You must have seen it. I was going to download that movie via peer-to-peer file sharing. That movie about that ship that gets boarded by modern day pirates. But A, I figured it would just be anti-pirate propaganda, and B, pirating an anti-piracy movie would be so fucking ironic that my broadband connection would possibly implode, creating a fissure in the space-time continuum that devours the Earth, the solar system, the Milky Way, and, indeed, the entire universe and the infinite milk that lies beyond the boundaries of reality. Because that's what's beyond the borders of the known universe. Milk. The one question I have about Somali pirates is, are they really pirates if they don't wear eye patches, have peg legs and say things like, "Here be treasure"? The other one question I have about Somali pirates is, are they really pirates or are they defending their territorial waters from foreign fishing vessels stealing their stocks of fish, and or defending their territorial waters from foreign vessels dumping toxic fucking waste in Somali waters, or are they just communists redistributing wealth from the rich west to their corner of the global south? I'm not saying Somali pirates are heroes. Oh wait, that is, in fact, exactly what I'm saying, along with 70% of the local Somali population, according to one poll I cherry-picked to back up my assertion. Piracy is an anarchist endeavour, which is certainly why I support it. It is one way of sticking it to the capitalist establishment, and it's popular with the population who populate that which is populated. For instance, in the 1960s, a ragtag bunch of disc jockeys decided to grab an old trawler, sail it out into the English Channel and start broadcasting music to the British Isles. And, because the cheeky beggars were in international waters, there was fuck all the British government could do about it. Guess who one of those DJs was? That's right, kids. John Peel, the godlike being of British broadcasting who is more badass than you or I am, was a pirate. Of course, as with all good things, it came to an end when BBC Radio 1 sent out its navies and barraged the good ship Caroline with cannons, kidnapped John Peel and enslaved him, forcing him to work for the BBC. Of course, John Peel eventually got his revenge by playing Napalm Death on his radio programme. In the 1980s, oh, here we go, fucking air quotes comedian is going to wax lyrical again about the bloody 1980s like he does all the bleeding time. Why does that cunt feel compelled to talk about his glory days all the time? Get over it, Patrick, it's over. It's all behind you. Why not focus on the future for a change, huh? In the 1980s and 90s, I would often record John Peel's radio programme on these things called cassette tapes. Now, you might think that this was a form of piracy, but through some complicated legal hand-waving, the establishment deemed that it wasn't. The same thing happened when people started recording television programmes on these things called video cassette tapes. No, collective shit by the establishment wasn't lost until the advent of digital copying and downloading over the internet. This was epitomised by that time Metallica had a fan drawn and quartered by cart horses for downloading some of their material. Nah, just kidding. Metallica would never do anything metal like that. Metallica, you'll recall, were a crap band from the 1980s who literally stole their name from a fanzine creator and then proceeded to steal riffs and licks from much better metal bands for their own. They had no sense of fucking irony when they sued one of their fans out of existence for downloading one of their tracks. I mean, it wasn't like the millionaires in Metallica were strapped for cash at the time, and they said as much. It was the capitalist principle of the thing. That's what they said. But they weren't the only ones at it. Movie studios decided a good source of revenue might be suing regular folk for downloading their property, so you had these hugely rich corporations suing peons for millions of dollars because they had the temerity to download a copy of Judge Dredd. Talk about a bunch of shit, eh? Speaking of utter crap, there are people other than money-grubbing corporations and the legal system that kisses their arse who raise objections to piracy. They say stuff like, "You shouldn't be downloading stuff because that's illegal." Yeah, so is protesting. So is supporting transgender youth in some US states. So is shooting right-wing Christian conservatives in the head. So, whataboutism aside, what's your point? They invariably counter with something along the lines of, "It's immoral because it's stealing." But is it stealing really? Is it? You see, I might download a movie, but what's actually happening when that happens is that I'm making a copy of it. I'm not removing the item I'm copying against the owner of that copy's will, am I? Yeah, I know what you meant. You meant I'm not putting money in the pocket of a multi-billion-dollar media industry that, let's not forget, are raking it in hand over fist. If I couldn't, for some reason, download a copy of whatever it is I'm downloading, then I certainly wouldn't buy it. You know, on account of being poor. So it's not like they would get any money out of me either way. File sharing is anarcho-communism in action. It's a decentralised and egalitarian way of saying fuck you to capitalism and, as such, is the moral thing to do because it empowers the oi polloi rather than greedy corporations. Plus, an industry that gave us the Sylvester Stallone version of Judge Dredd deserve everything they fucking get.